this whole coaching world is weird. Because we've talked about people who, spent 3 months on the couch and now they're teaching people how to be awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you, had you come on this podcast, because like, how do you judge a coach? Because there's so many out there now. And and to finish my story, like Brendan Burchard, like he even tells the story. He was broke, living off his girlfriend. In Chinese, we call that eating sandal rice, as in you're being fed, you eat out of your partner's shoe because you're so broke, right? That was what he was doing, and his girlfriend had to sleep under all of his files on her bed to not disturb him while he was writing. Like he was so broke, and now he's number one coach. According to somebody.
According to some random study somewhere. But here's my question: is that there's two things with that. First of all, I have a question. Did he end up marrying his girlfriend? That one who went through all that?
He didn't mention it.
I knew it. Poor girl. Anyway, so got nothing out of that. But anyway, I think if you're looking at, this is the attention economy. Okay, so the attention economy right now is where somebody who gets a lot of attention, is automatically looked at as, oh, they must be an expert. But really, they could be really good at marketing themselves. They could really be really good at, they could have invested $1 million in PR. They could have a really great story in the background. I don't really think that makes somebody a number one coach.
Right.
I really don't believe that. I think that society, again, we're the attention economy. So the more views you get, the more likes you get, the more credibility that builds you. And again, the more eyeballs you get, that, it brings your, I guess you could say, popularity right to the top. It's like that in any industry. In the coaching world, it's very common. Doesn't mean anybody's a great coach. It's really your clientele, your results that you get, how many referrals you get. Like that's kind of, in my opinion, how you judge whether somebody's a good coach or not. Because right now the attention economy is basically anybody can pay any amount of money and become, in the public's views, within a month, they could be the most popular person, and then, buy all these awards now where, we just saw these most influential awards. And anyway, the long story short is you can actually purchase 99% of the awards that you win nowadays. So credibility along those is, how do you market those awards? Do you tell the public? The public has no idea. So it's going to become a very oversatiated market, the coaching world. Yep.
I told you previously how someone was at Archangel and stood up, and as part of standing up, you have to say what it is you do, and he said he's an ethics coach.
Right. Isn't that great? I think that's awesome. Yeah, but there's everything now. There's book coaches, there's, business coaches, there's life coaches, there's ethic coaches, there's fitness coaches, there's nutrition coaches. Like the word coach is it's non-regulated. Yeah. So I think what you're going to see, it's kind of, that whole coaching industry is it's a non-regulated industry. Right. So unless they and there is no sign of it becoming a regulated industry in general. So it's really it's going to become, it's a multi-billion-dollar growing industry, and everybody is a coach. So it's going to become very, very interesting the next 5 years.
Interesting. How many people came to you from an advertising piece versus referral?
We are a 100%, I think we're the only coaching company in existence right now that is 100% referral based. Okay. So we have not spent a dollar. We grew to over $1 million company within our first year, and it's 100% referral, which, and the truth is that, do I think that that's a smart idea? I don't think that's a smart idea. However, we get results for our clients. So, when you're getting results, you can build a multi-million-dollar company as long as you provide value to your clients and you're continually building it. We don't even have a proactive program right now where we ask for referrals, because we get so much and we're growing so fast that we've actually we're only just going to start to implement a lot of stuff in 2019 for referrals and marketing, simply because we haven't needed to. We don't need to.
Man, I'm almost thinking I want to hire a PR company.
It's, it's not a bad idea, but again, again, it's, you have to have a story. If you notice something at when this session at Archangels that you just went to, every single person who steps on stage, they start with some tragedy, some story. They have to ignite with the audience and connect with the audience and have something that makes them have validity. So every single person, it's, is some story. I grew up in a basement. I was a drug addict. I was homeless. I was whatever, which, a lot of people go through, but nowadays it's anything. My parent died, or one of my family members had cancer and it really shook me. Like, there's always a story that starts those people off on stage, which gives you the connection, which again, more eyeballs on them.
Okay, Coach. So as usual, my guests do not know their questions in advance.
I know, it's exciting.
What's your story?
Oh my gosh.
I know part of it. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you share?
I was a leprechaun. once. No, I'm kidding. I'm the only living leprechaun in the world. No, I don't. My story is I do have a story, and I very rarely share my story. I have not stand on stage and shared it at all. So my story pretty much is that, my family had passed away when I was younger. That did render me homeless for a year. So I would shower and change and all that kind of stuff at the YMCA. And, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor as well. And, you know what, that's my story, is that, I had a very, very unexpected turn when I was a teenager, and I fell into that system where there wasn't anywhere to go. So I really learned to work hard, and I came from literally nothing. So I can definitely tell you I came from nothing. I don't know if I ever, I was lucky enough. The receptionist at the YMCA, Erin, at the time, she noticed, and she had a small little bachelor apartment. And after a while, she noticed, picked up what I was doing, and she let me couch surf until I got myself put together and on my feet. So it was great. Yep. Came from nothing.
You still talk to Erin?
Not often. I mean, she's moved out. She's actually from Napanee, and she's moved back and married, kids, and we've kind of gone, as entrepreneurs, sometimes your circle has to change. I'm very grateful for her, and we Facebook every now and then.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of your company?
Red Apple Coaching and Consulting.
See, because even though I talk to you a lot more than I talk to almost a lot of many people, it's usually about me.
It is usually about you. Very few clients actually do talk about me, and I think that that's interesting, because if you read my bio, I don't ever stop. So, when I'm not coaching, I'm doing other crazy stuff. So it's really, I have a very exciting life.
What's your week look like? How many hours coaching? In crazy stuff? Yeah, you do some crazy stuff.
I do some crazy stuff. Right now,
crazy stuff too.
I think that's why I like all my coaching clients. They're all crazy like me. Right now, I'm doing about, personally speaking, I'm only taking on about 40 of the top producing agents in Canada right now. So I'm only working with 40 myself, which actually is a full schedule. So that's about a good 20 hours of coaching, a good 10 hours of coaching prep. We're launching out multiple group coaching programs. So I'm spending another good 15 hours a week working with my team on those. And we're revamping all of our social media websites, because as I said, we've been so referral based, we've neglected those areas. So we're spending. And then for fun, I am training for a half Ironman in June. So.
Before that, oh Jesus Christ! So that's a full marathon as a run, right?
No, it's a half marathon as a run. For the half Ironman, it's a half marathon.
Okay. And how long's the swim?
It's like 1.9K, 1.8K, something like that. Yeah, super exciting.
Where is this? Somewhere warm, I hope.
No, I signed up in Michigan. Michigan's, I know. Lake Michigan, I'm going to be doing.
That's a big lake. The big lakes are cold.
I know. It's going to be exciting. Well, you wear a wetsuit. I mean, you don't go in there without a wetsuit, right?
Yeah, that means chafing. Oh my God, I have so many reasons why not to do this.
Yeah, but you do other things, and I think one of the things about coaching that I personally believe in is that you have to continually push yourself. Like, you have to, not just in business, but in your personal life. Like, if I'm not doing marathons, I'm going to do crazy stuff. Like, I want to just keep pushing the boundaries of what you can do. So, I mean, I got to the point where I was running 4 marathons a year, and I'm like, okay, what's next? Well, triathlon. triathlons. I took a dab in triathlons. I was like, all right, this is exciting. Now it's Ironmans. So I want that Ironman tattoo. So, and it really pushes my brain to the next stage. Mm-hmm.
Wait, so it's gonna be half a marathon, half an Ironman tattoo? Like,
No. Oh yeah, the full Ironman. If everything goes well in June, the full one should be Florida at the end of next year. Oh yeah.
So I'm sorry, I was chirping some people earlier about doing a half Tough Mudder. Like, I didn't know that existed.
I didn't exist either. What? That's like cheating.
Oh, and it was in Christie Lake, and that's
Nice.
it's all flat. Versus I had to do it on Mount St. Louis.
Cheating.
Yeah, that's not the same torture.
Yeah, it's not the same torture, but nevertheless, it's still, it's a gateway, right?
Yeah.
It's a gateway to bigger things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I'm trying to actually bring up your website right now because all your you don't really market.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. We just literally put a temporary one up there. Don't bring it up.
Nice. Oh wow, generic pictures. And the point I'm making is, some people get stuck on like business cards and websites before they do anything.
Not this one.
Right? Like you were using a Gmail address for the longest time.
Listen, you know what? I will say one thing. And the one thing that I will say is that when you experience mass growth, you have two choices. You either realize you have a leverage problem, which we realized, we're the first to admit it, so what's more important? Do you want to grow your company and do you want to spend your time worrying that, hey, guess what? Oh, I should just slow down my revenue and kind of go all over the place. Everything's working. It doesn't affect our coaching. The difference is that was a leverage issue. Mm-hmm. And, we didn't have the right people on board and we certainly didn't have the right minds on board. And we were just growing so fast that, it was more about just, okay, like coaching. When you're growing a coaching company and you're moving fast, you're going to run into some problems. You're going to run into lack of coaches to service people. You're going to run into lack of technology. You're going to website issues. You're going to run into everything. So it's kind of like everything just comes down, just like you're building a real estate team. Mm-hmm. You're not going to nail everything. Mm-hmm. So we definitely didn't nail that area. And now we have all our temporary sites on. Right. And so we've got the team in place, and 30 days from now should be a very different story. Right.
And I think you mentioned earlier, you still managed to build a 7-figure business with stock pictures on your website.
We could barely, that's actually the most ironic thing is, people ask me all the time, they're just like, well, in the coaching community, they're like, well, how much money do you spend on marketing? I'm like, zero. Like literally zero. And they're like, what about your social media? What's your budget? I'm like, zero. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. I'm like, if you provide value and you get your clients what you want and you're building their businesses, you can't stop. Like that's really good. Right. Now, if we want to get to the next level, there's only one way to go, and you have to start marketing and branding and have all that stuff. Right. So we are. So that is inevitable.
So I'm going to ask you, I didn't think we'd go down this direction, but I'm going to ask you a marketing question then. Like,
sure.
You have a story, but the funny thing is, like, all these people who we've talked about these people offline. We won't mention names, but these people with powerful stories who had no track record. So you have a story, you have an established track record. How do you market that now?
That's a really great question, because I teeter-totter on deciding, like, the story. Do I want to be standing there on a stage and tell a story and be like, here's my background, here's my story, let's call it, and what's my purpose of that? Do I want to inspire people, or do I want to tell them, listen, do I need to bring up my story in order to say, look, here's our clients, here's what we've done, here's what we're great at. Is the story really the reason why my company is successful? That's the question, right? Mm-hmm. Are they interrelated? Are they, do I need to tell the story in order for people to join our company and coach with us? What is it? So, I'd ask the question back to you. Do you think that when you go to these conferences and you hear a person's story, does that give you more buy-in to purchasing products or working with those individuals?
I'm different because I don't have trouble with motivation, as you know. so a lot of the stuff that they do doesn't work on me. Like I enjoy their stories that are entertaining, and I feel for them and I connect with them. But yeah, no, I'm not going to pursue anything with. Well, Arlene Dickinson wasn't selling anything. She was wonderful as well, and Brendan Burchard. You know, I think I was coming to the realization that I should just almost have like a fast on some of this attention economy stuff. Is not give my attention to a lot of people, and just hunker down. Right, just choose one or two people or one or two sources of information and just take that to the end. And then you can't really finish that. Like, you know, there probably is no end with you. Right?
I actually have a shirt from Nike that says there is no finish line. And it's like, and I think one of the things you just brought it up. And so this is kind of, you know, the question that I would ask myself over and over again, because I literally hear it all the time. People are like, you need to stand on stage, because that's just part of my story. That's just a fraction. My story is actually quite interesting. And the question that I ask myself all the time is, like, I'm the best business coach out there. I know it. And intrinsically, I know it from the core. So do I want to be known for my story, or do I want to be known as the best business coach?
Right.
And do I want to amalgamate and cross those lines? And maybe in the attention economy, it's becoming obvious that I think, you know what, we'll have to go there. So I just don't want people I'm wired very differently than other people. So I'm wired. I'm the type of person, when I get knocked down, I get right back up and I'm like, yes, do it again. Let's go. Like, you know, so I don't want people to think that, hey, you know, they have to understand I am wired very differently.
You want to feel a different level of discomfort?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I knew you were going to say yes anyways. But you know how like Gary Vee gets followed around by a videographer?
Yes.
Imagine if you did that. You hired a videographer to document you.
I don't know if they could keep up. I mean, I watch Gary Vee and sometimes I'm like, you know, we'd be pretty good to travel together. We'd be pretty good. Like, we'd be great roommates. We'd be like fantastic. Be like, blah, blah, blah. Like, we'd be all the time. Go, 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 go. So this is calm for me. So yes.
So that's awesome that you're able to say that you're the best business coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's so many conflicting things out there. Like, be humble. Like, don't talk about stuff. I've been told before, like, don't show these things, right?
Sure.
Because then they think, oh, the realtor. No, they're a salesperson. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I agree with you with that, with the be humble thing. But I think you have to have, as a business owner and entrepreneur, you have to believe in yourself. And I think one of the patterns, and I guess this goes back to my story, is that I think I've proven myself, you know, that you can do anything you want to do. You always have a choice. You can go left, you can go right. But I truly believe that anybody can do anything that they want to do. So I think if you want to be humble about things, I think that's going to hurt you. I think you shouldn't be braggadocious, and it's not all about ego. And I think that people don't necessarily care anymore about that. But you do have to have that confidence in order to get to that next level and go, look, I'm here. I'm going to the next level. Here's where I'm at, and boom. And I think that for me, I'm confident that I am the best business coach. And I'll go head to head with anybody on that. You know what? My track record shows it. I shouldn't be ashamed of it. I should be very confident about it. But I'm not going to go send postcards out to everybody. And I'm also going to say is that I'm not an overnight success. I've been doing this for a long time. And kind of like what Steve Jobs said, all the patterns, all the dots that you look at, they all line up. So I've invested a lot in my own personal coaching for myself, and I invested a lot in my own personal growth. So the path to get here is what got me there. I didn't wake up and say, I'm the best coach. So I have a lot to grow, a lot of growing.
So I don't think I've shared this before, but like even these awards, like they don't, they're nice.
They're nice.
The next day though, is my thought process is that was yesterday. What did you do today? And then go earn the next one.
Yeah, and there's a really when I was on stage at a conference with all these realtors once, we were having a conversation. The conversation went, you know, and I'm gonna guess on the numbers because this was a couple of years ago, but we were talking about teams in the NFL. And the average NFL, do you know how many coaches that they have?
They have a bajillion.
Yeah, they have like a bajillion coaches, but they have about, let's just for hypothetical reasons say they have, I think the ratio is like for every 2 players, there's a coach. So it's like 23 coaches, I think. So when a team in the NFL wins the Super Bowl, okay, what do you think happens? Do they increase their coaches, maintain their coaches, or decrease their coaches when they win the Super Bowl?
Probably increase it, more budget.
Statistically, all the teams that win the Super Bowl, they increase by 1 to 2 coaches. They add an extra 1 or 2 coaches on just because, they won the Super Bowl. There's their moment, but you can't stop there. It's, they want to do it again. So they continually to invest in their own growth. It's remarkable. It's really a cool statistic that I found. I loved it.
For anyone starting on their personal development journey, any advice on where to start?
Yeah, I think for anybody in any entrepreneurial position, I think if you try to do it on your own, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't want people to confuse what a mentor and what a coach is. And I think if you're looking, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, go get a good mentor, go find somebody super successful and mentor them. Well, mentorship is something that you earn. Okay, it's a position you earn. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I'm starting out, I want to mentor with you," I'm not going to. Like, it's something that I have to find it. I'm going to choose who I mentor. So I want to mentor 2 or 3 people a year. That I'm not going to just wait for them to come to me and say, "Oh, here you go." I'm going to really look and who's in my circle. And generally, they earn their way to a mentorship opportunity. So that's why I would say hire a coach. Absolutely hire a coach, but be careful when you hire a coach. Make sure that you talk again, do the credentials, talk to a client that they've serviced or 2 or 3 clients and ask for references. I'm a big proponent. There's a big debate out in the industry right now that I started a few months back saying every coach should be able to provide references. Every coach. And any coach that gives pushback on it, I truly believe you're getting the pushback for a very obvious reason. So this whole it's confidential or anything, listen, any client that's doing well will be happy to give a reference.
Wow, that's funny.
So get a reference, start your business, don't do it on your own, and seek a coach in your industry. And if you don't have a coach, if there's an industry with no coaches in your business, go find somebody super successful and ask them, offer to pay them. Just be like, I'm looking for a coach. Would you consider, 30 minutes a week of your time? What would you charge me? Do you have that opportunity? That could work too. But don't expect to get it for free. Don't expect to go for somebody and say, oh, they're really successful and they're great, and I'm going to just meet with them for coffees and get what I need to get serious about.
Don't just cold send them an email like I got last week.
Yeah. I mean, we get those all the time. I mean, it's flattering, but at the same token, it's like, so we usually just send something back and say, well, give us the following things, answers, and then we never hear from them again.
Right.
When it requires a little bit of work, they kind of go, okay.
Right. What I got from Julie Broad was she says, so read my book.
Yeah.
Because often the answer is in the book. So she'll say, read my book and come back.
That's a great one. That is awesome advice from Julie. I like that.
So this one was a real estate investor. So I'm going to tell him my 3 favorite real estate books and go read 3 books and come back to me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I might try that actually. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I think I love that's Julie's own book too.
Yeah, it's her own.
But
book.
hey,
It's
it's legit.
yeah.
Like we
It's
wrote,
totally legit.
like your own book is kind of like your own FAQ, right?
100%.
They made into the book for a reason. So for people looking for a mentor, what did the people do? The people that you mentor, how did they come into your tribe? I don't know. Why did you accept them?
What I look for, so the people that I mentor very specifically is I look for raw talent. So this is it does go back to who I used to be. And I found that, I've always had to work really hard. And I think that there are some people out there who have remarkable potential, but they just have nobody in their circle who has ever lifted them up, ever. Whether it's at home, whether it's upbringing, whether it's family, whether it's circumstances, they just have always been the person that, has potential, but they're literally have never had the experience of being lifted up and truly understand what it's like to believe and just trust your instincts and know that you could build something great or do something great with your life. So I look for those people. And I look for them in terms of people who volunteer in our organization. So if they're volunteers in my organization and I get to know them and I spend time with them, I truly believe that in Ford. So family, occupation, recreation, dreams, if you don't connect with people in your organization, even the volunteers volunteers or the receptionists, if you're not connecting with them, you'll never get to see who these people truly are. So we watch out for the volunteers. We watch for people who have that raw passion and who shine. It's almost like they turn into a different person when they get that encouragement or the opportunity, or they're always rising up. So we will look for those, and we'll give them office space, we'll give them opportunity, and we will give them mentorship opportunities with me. And, it's directly also known that if we give them those opportunities, it's a give back thing. So do something great with it. And we're pretty good with it. I want to build that into something bigger eventually. But I really do look for the people who you don't have to come from broken places, but they have to come from an environment where they've just never realized their potential because of their environment, whatever that environment is. I
had this one mentee who too often he didn't follow my advice, and it ended up hurting him financially and giving him grief. So then that stopped. What have you had that where a mentee doesn't listen?
No, I mean, I'm a pretty scary person. I mean, I'm friendly right now and everything, but I'm pretty hardcore. Anybody who's in my environment, who works in my organization or in my environment, or even, as coaches with me, there isn't a lot of gray. So it's the expectations, as long as you're very clear with the expectations out front and you have your standards. And I don't think that there's anybody in my organization that, whether it's mentorship, whether it's anybody, even in my coaching world, that would ever second guess that. Everybody that's in my environment knows that we're crystal clear. We're here to do great things in this world. So there is nobody and I'm pretty good, I feel, with the mentorees that I've chosen. I don't think I've made any mistakes. I'm pretty good at recognizing raw talent.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've made way too many millionaires to be wrong.
Except for me, I snuck in. I'm neither raw talent or talented or.
Yeah, we put you though.
But I pay.
But we put you in a charitable category. So there's that whole charity component that you haven't asked about. That's kind of where you're sitting. No. No. You're great. You're very talented.
That just goes in one ear or the other. Yeah, is there something wrong with me? Because I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're like part-time therapist for people.
Well, some people say that, my coaching clients who are making 5-6 million GCI a year. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, and this is a really great question in another interview I did, and they said, well, if you personally have never made 6 million GCI in real estate, how can you coach people at 5-6 million? And I said, well, that's a misconception. If you look at professional athletes, you look at any coaches in the professional world, very rarely would Tiger Woods coach, let's say, or a golf coach, very rarely would they have outperformed that person. Yeah. Okay. It's just not possible. Like swim coaches, running coaches, business coaches. So I said to the person, I said, sometimes clients who are in that 5 or 6 million, they're just out of the box thinkers, and they're such fear. They're so fearless that they just go. They just need a sounding board. They need a sounding board. They need an outside in look. They have HR problems within, they have other issues within, and sometimes they're just, they need just a good kick in the butt themselves. But generally, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, they also doubt themselves like everybody else. So it's a really interesting, they have the same doubts, and it's amazing. The 5-6 million GCI producers a year, they have the exact same doubts as somebody who's brand new in the business. It's the same thing. They're just used to jumping off the ledge.
What other, I don't know, the word foibles comes to mind. Remember Dr. Shafali last year at Archangel, how she just told us, you're all the same. You all have the same insecurities. You all want people to like you, and you wonder what people are thinking. What other nut stupid things are about high achievers have you found?
I think the thing that everybody has to remember is that the brain, one of the core functions of the brain is to protect you. Okay, that's what it's there for. So if the core function of the brain is to protect you, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're brand new or you're ultra experienced. You are always going to have the brain protecting you. And so anytime you go into a new venue or a new emotion or a new task or a new hire or a new spending, your brain is there to go, it's going to pull everything it has since you were a child, and it's going to go, all right, I'm going to protect you. I'm just going to protect you. And it's going to stop you from doing things. I call it flinching. So it's where you flinch and you go, I'm just about to make that hire. And then you're like, and you're looking at the contract going, oh my God, it's $60,000 a year. And you're like, I've never hired somebody $60,000. Oh, there goes your brain. It starts to protect you and you may flinch and go, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for it. So I think all of us have the exact same protection mechanism in our brain. Unless there's an injury in your brain that we don't know about, you would have it. And I think the biggest thing that I can suggest is that the difference is that the people who are very well experienced and they're gone through a lot of milestones, they're still going to experience it, but their brain has taught them that nothing bad is going to happen. The minute you take that step and the minute that you know and you recognize, you say, this is normal. My brain's here to protect me. I've never done this before. It's giving me all the reasons why I shouldn't do this, or it's pulling me back from going to the next level. And the minute you cross over that level, the brain lets go. It goes, it's all good. It's all good. So it's like crossing the street. The first time you ever crossed the street and the light was red and you saw it, you jaywalked, there was no cars, your brain wanted to protect you. You hesitate. Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? The minute you take that first step, your brain's like, we're good. We're good. We're not going to get hit. And you keep walking. It gets you going. Right. So it's the same thing in business. The minute that you can understand that the brain is there to protect you, and that's what stops people from doing really great moves in the business. And that's where coaching, a lot of our accountability coaching comes in, where we have to talk to people and say, do it. That's why when people say, oh, you're a scary coach. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm a scary coach. But, I look back and go, all the things that you've done. I mean, Tony. I mean, look at Tony. In 4 months coaching with us, he's gone from solo and, to hiring his first assistant, hiring a buyer agent. Like, he's he's never had a business like this. So,
I'm referring to Tony Miller, who's been a past guest of the show, Mr. Ottawa.
Yeah. And
who I refer to you.
Fearless. Yeah, exactly. And he's been fearless. I mean, 4 months in, and he's done things that he's been in business for a while. And he's like, fear stopped him from doing all that stuff. So he got pushed right through it. And now the guy is making steps like, he's speaking at Keyspire, he's doing this, that, like he's just really, all this stuff has opened up doors for him. So now he's becoming used to taking steps and, telling his brain, thank you for protecting me. But he's getting used to it. And his brain's starting to go, it's okay. So the fear is not as strong. It's still present, but it's good for him now. And that's what happens. Doesn't matter what level in real estate you are, it never goes away.
Well, he's Mr. Ottawa, and he wasn't using his story. For example, that was the first time he shared his story publicly on this show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And going back to the marketing stuff, like it worked out very well for him.
Yeah, it did. It really did. So, I mean, and again, that's the age-old question. Do you share your story? And, and if you don't have a story, does it matter? No, because I've gotten to where I've gotten. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't have a story. I had a great life. Nothing bad's ever happened to me. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. We've built $1 million company, without ever sharing our story. So I think, there's two sides to the coin. I think, though, if you want to get into mega status, it's very obvious in this attention economy. If you want to connect with people, you have to share your story.
Right. I was actually debating with someone yesterday who very good marketer about who's bigger, Daymond John or Gary Vee. Because we weren't prepared for this conversation. It just came up out of the blue. Like, Daymond John's a shark. He's on Shark Tank. Television is massive, right?
Yeah.
Gary Vee has a massive following. And no television, no mainstream media.
Nope. The attention economy, though. Gary Vee did everything he could to get the attention economy. He did it. He nailed it. He got it. His really ballsy videos got eyeballs. That's what, the attention economy. Right. He nailed the attention economy, and Daymond didn't.
Right. It looks like Gary Vee's speaking fee doubled. So that just recently. So good for him. It's whatever he's doing is working. See, hire a videographer. There you go. Maybe you hire two then, all right?
And
keep up with
again,
you.
that's exactly it. But what is Gary Vee selling?
Attention. Yeah, that's what he says. That's his currency.
Yeah. His currency is attention. So he, in my opinion, is like the master of it. He's brilliant at it. Absolutely brilliant at it. And so many people have tried and wanted to replicate him, but he is also, it's who he is. Like, there is no, like, the authenticity behind him is remarkable. Mm-hmm. It's exactly who he is, and he's being who he is. If somebody else, I know somebody who wanted to be just like him, and they tried to go out there and do it, they just don't have, like, that's not who they are. Mm-hmm. Like, Gary Vee is, like, authentic to the core. Not many people can get out there, swear and say the things he says and goes on video and really puts it out there like that, except for him. He's unique. It's really quite brilliant. Interesting. Yeah, we just need the female version of Gary Vee, right?
Oh, actually, now you mentioned it. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if there is someone nearly that outspoken.
Not even close.
Yeah. Those outspoken crazy talk people, but not likable ones like Gary Vee.
Not likable. Isn't that ironic, though? We've often wondered that. We have that dialogue around the office sometimes, and we go, you know what? There's the male version of Gary Vee. Where's the female version? Is there a space for that? And I really think there is.
Oh, totally there is. Mm-hmm. People talk about, I don't want to offend anyone like with the women talk, but like half of my guests are women.
Yeah. Yep.
I say this in the nice way as a compliment. I have like mass murderers as women on my show who are just killing it.
Right? Oh yeah.
Like yourself included. I interviewed Tahani yesterday, and she's destroying it. She's gonna be in TEDx in Toronto. Like, geez. Yep.
Exactly. Attention economy. But yeah, I think, well, right now, I think it's balanced, right? I think there's going to be people, left and right. Like, I think women in general, I'm very excited for women in today's world. I think there's more opportunity than there's ever been for them to stand up and just be awesome. Mm-hmm. And I think the men that are showing up in the leadership industry are amazing as well, because they're also accepting of it. There's not as many barriers anymore for women to stand up and just be powerful. So it's changing dramatically. And I think there's a long way to go. But you know what? I think it's great. I think the future is going to be awesome for it. So yeah, there's always been powerful women. Mm-hmm.
Arlene Dickinson was my favorite speaker at Archangel. So
yeah. That woman is a force to reckon with, I tell you, right?
She didn't even want to do Dragon's Den.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy part.
Yep.
Any other advice for? Okay, so. Nah, let's go that way. Let's go the people looking for coach way. Mm. So you're not taking on that many people. What other subjects do you coach on?
So our company coaches, like, we have a lot. So we have fitness coaches now. We have business coaches.
I didn't know you had fitness coaches.
We just opened our fitness coaching side. So we're going to be launching some great group coaching programs to start actually bringing awareness to it. So that's going to be great. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We have leadership coaches, so John Maxwell coaches. So we have a whole leadership coaching. So people who are looking to get better at leadership, we really go towards the John Maxwell coaching. They're certified John Maxwell coaches. We have NLP coaches, and so
what's NLP for?
It's for your mindset. Yeah, for the layman, it's really about your mindset. So if you feel like you may only want an NLP coach for a few months, to break through a specific mindset, or if you're a person who literally has no support and you're like, I know how to grind it, I just really need, I need to kick my mindset into a different area. So we have that as well. And we're branching out corporate coaching as well. So we have some of the bigger, like, we've done work with Tim Hortons and many other companies.
Okay, cool. Yep. Are you still doing that Forbes thing?
Oh yeah, Forbes thing. So
what's that about?
Well, I mean, the Forbes thing is great. So for those of you who don't know, I write for Forbes. So I've been published with Forbes, and I'm one of their coaches council. So it's a great community of coaches in certain industries that they've picked, and we provide article advice. We write for them. We're part of a group of other coaches, mm-hmm. and we're known as the industry leaders. So yeah, so I'm the real estate coach.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good. It's excellent.
What should I write to get informed?
What should you? Well, I think, and here's the thing. It's easier than ever now. Like, again, I mean, it's easier than ever to get in. But I think what I was telling Erwin, yourself earlier, if you want to get published in magazines like Forbes, look for the people, everything, one of my favorite conferences every year is called The Gathering, and I love going to it. It's all about branding. And one of the coolest things that we talked about this past year was, what do you like? What are you doing to make a difference in this world? Because I think you said it earlier, nobody really cares. Like, are you number one this? Are you number one that? Nobody really cares. So what are you doing to make a difference in this world? That's actually what people want to hear. So your basket brigade, for example, that's phenomenal. So the topic of real estate agents giving back, I'm a huge proponent on this. I think too many real estate agents are not giving back. Okay, they're doing a little bit here, a little bit there, or they're doing spot events so they can just boost their social media a little bit. But I think if you were to really think bigger, and you were like, you know what, how can we consistently, how do we make a difference in this world? If you look at Vans is a great company that gives back consistently. They have programs where they give back. They build skateboarding parks in neighborhoods. So if you're a real estate agent, it's great. We talk about farming areas all the time. But then it's like, okay, there's your farming area, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to send 1 million, postcards. I'm going to spend $5,000 a month on postcards. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going, well, wait a second. You're going to invest, let's say, $40,000 a year, or even $10,000 a year to farm a neighborhood, and with postcards and junk mail and things like that. Why don't you make a difference in the community? What could you do to make a difference? Could you, in every quarter, could you have maybe a park initiative where it's like, you want to farm that area? Why don't you take your farming money and then do a whole social media campaign and say, okay, here's my social media campaign around it. And this time we're going to do, let's say, my neighborhood, Cumberland Village, we're going to do the park on so-and-so street. We're going to revamp it. Great. That's the park we're doing this quarter. Everybody come up and help us and hashtag it and get everybody involved. You will get more that way. And then the following quarter, pick another park in the neighborhood that you're farming. That's what's working. And that's what's going to get you, if you were to do an article, that's what's going to get you noticed. That's what people want to see. They don't want to see that you're just a realtor collecting a lot of commission and sending just sold postcards everywhere. Go make a difference. Make a difference. And if you follow the trends, all the trends show that not just millennials, but everybody want to feel like they're part of a change. They want to feel like they're contributing. When they hire a realtor now, their statistics are very much trending this area. They want to feel like, if I hire you, Erwin, and I hire your team and I pay you guys, are you making a dent in this world with that? Are you doing anything with it? Or are you just sitting back taking the paycheck and just saying nothing, which is why Basket Brigade is really cool. So you know what? What are you doing with it? What are you doing with the income that people are paying you? And you'll see the trends over the next 3 to 5 years it's just going to become remarkable. The teams and the people who are saying here to our clients, use us as your realtors and look what we're going to reinvest in your community and what we're going to make a difference in people's lives. So I came up with a great idea for a team that we're just starting to use with a team, and it's phenomenal. And I think it's going to be mind blowing, where we're actually, buying defibrillators, for all the organizations and all the communities and community houses and the old age homes. Like, we're literally going in and saying, what do you need? What do you guys need? And then they're really just saying, great, we're going to do initiatives. We're going to launch it. And every month they're going to give something back to a member of the community or a community organization in their farm area that needs something. And the reception already has been remarkable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a really cool initiative. And we're really trying to focus with our clientele to not, like, when we go and we learn this stuff, we're bringing it back and we're going, don't forget, let's be ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. We're not going to sit there 3 years from now and go, why didn't we do this? Yep.
I've kept my charity very separate from my business. For example, I don't go to my list for my charity. Every medium I use for my charity has always been a personal medium. Like, I use my personal Facebook, my page, or I talk about it personally. I may talk about it in my meetings, but that's more for a leverage situation because many of the volunteers are in my audience. Mm-hmm. Am I doing this wrong?
Yes. Yes, according to
see, fans what I have to deal with. This is my coach. And there's no sugarcoating.
There's no sugarcoating.
You're an idiot.
I'd have to ask you like a question. Well, Erwin, let me ask you what you think. Do you feel like you're doing it wrong? I'm not going to do that. I mean, what if you follow the trends? And again, best branding conference to show you those trends is the Gathering, and I love it. And you know what? If you follow all the trends, no. I mean, people want to be connected, and the best brands in the world, every best brand in the world is actually doing that. So they, your clients want to be part of something. They want to support somebody who is making a difference in this world. So yes, you should incorporate the two. Don't kill them with it, but at least let them know and let them see. And you know what? That's what people want. So even though it's the attention economy, people want to know that they're supporting somebody, and they have to know that you're doing such great things with the Basket Brigade. And even if they don't give you money for that, it makes them feel really great to be associated with you.
Right.
So yes.
Right. Because in case anyone cannot connect the dots, like Steve Jobs says, because you can connect the dots when you look back.
Yeah.
The further our business goes, the further our charity goes.
True. It's totally true. I mean, you know what? We were just talking about the other day, and it's remarkable. So yeah, get your clients involved, and they don't have to donate. It's not about forcing donations on them. It's about hashtagging it, letting them see it, letting them, be a part of it, if they choose to be a part of it. That's all.
Super cool. All right, Coach, we're running out of time. And for folks who are, I don't know if, depending on how the editing goes, Coach doesn't always dress like this for our calls.
I was trying to tell you, my shirt was slightly dirty. I don't know. I think I dress, believe it or not, I actually look pretty good at the office. Yes.
So we only have a few minutes left. What would you like to share with the audience about you, about coaching, about people who are looking for coaching? You choose a topic.
I think the biggest thing I want to share about coaching is that the number one question that always comes back is, am I ready for coaching? I mean, we must get at least 50 emails a week that says, I may be ready. Can we talk to you? Can we talk to someone from your team? I may be ready for coaching. And I don't know. That's what always comes up. And so how do I know if I'm ready for coaching? And the truth is that there's two things. The first thing is that if you have an idea in your head of what you want to build as an entrepreneur, whatever industry it is, that idea is not in your head because of nothing. It's just, you didn't just randomly go, oh, here you go. What it is it's your subconscious. It's everything that you have done up to this point in your life has created a picture of what you can do. So if you see yourself building a multi-million-dollar business and that exists as a picture in your head, and you're like, why is this idea coming here? Why do I feel like I could do this? Yet I'm sitting here on my couch. It's there because you can. So you absolutely can. So any idea, the same way I could never be a doctor. That idea has never crossed my mind. I don't like needles. I don't like blood. It's just not in my brain. So nothing that I've done leading up to this point in my life has given my brain the idea that I could be a doctor. A lawyer, that comes in my head all the time. So if I wanted to go to law school, I could become a lawyer. So it's the same thing as every entrepreneur. If you have the idea in your head, or that little voice that says, come on, reach out to a coach. You can do this, whether it's $200,000 a year, $500,000, building a big team, building multiple teams, opening your own brokerage, whatever the idea in your head is as an entrepreneur, that's your brain telling you have everything in you to do it. Where a coach comes in, whether you're ready to hire a coach or not, is very simple. If you're ready to be uncomfortable, then you are ready for coaching. If you are not ready to be uncomfortable, if you don't like being uncomfortable, if you're going to push back on being comfortable, if that whole uncomfortable feeling, picture yourself not knowing how to swim, having a life jacket on, but somebody pushing you into the water. If that doesn't work for you, you may not be ready for coaching. You may be thinking about it, but the best coaches in the industry should always make you uncomfortable.
Right.
It's not about being your best friend. It's about saying every step you take, going back to what we talked about previously, you're going to have to fight your brain trying to protect you. So it's a push-pull. Your brain's going to say, I want to protect you. Your coach is going to say, move forward. That's where uncomfortableness comes in. So if you're okay with being uncomfortable, you're ready for coaching, hands down.
And you asked that question for new coach. Okay. what is it? Out of 10, you ask them how uncomfortable they want to be?
Yeah, we ask them all the time. We say, you know what, on a scale of 1 to 10, how accountable do you want to be held to your goals? And if somebody comes in anything less than an 8, you're probably not going to be ready for coaching because you're not quite ready to be uncomfortable. When you say a 9 or 10, and everybody knows that our organization is incredibly, we're on you every day. Like, we'll be like, if you aren't doing it, we get you on WhatsApp. If you're not on WhatsApp, like, our coaches will be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just when I'm on this phone call with you, you know what? I have about 6 or 7 coaching clients that have gone on WhatsApp and reported. I said, you're not stopping on Friday. It's a Friday. I'm like, you don't stop until you get your appointment. Like, you have to hit your goals today. It's simple as that. It's the end of the week. So they're all reporting their numbers. That's people who are ready to be uncomfortable. They're okay with it. And they're going to go have a wicked night tonight and it's back to work tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you made me uncomfortable. So I made Rob Drake uncomfortable. So you'll be speaking to him on Monday. You'll be hearing about this.
I heard. I know. I'm like, you sometimes I always warn people. I'm like, you gotta be careful. I said, if you reach out to us, I mean, we'll get you. We have a 98% retention and a 97.5% success to people hitting their goals every year, which in the coaching community is unheard of. It's not heard of. Most coaching companies have a 30% retention. Ours is over 98%, and then 97.5 hit their targets that they set out with us, and we have big targets that we hit. So I still, as a business owner, I still kick myself and say, gosh, what happened to that 2.5%? Like, why? So you know what? One day I'd love to have 100%. Here we get. Here it is.
You have to fire me as a client to get there.
It's you, man. So like, we got 3 months. You better hit it.
Yeah.
I just called you out on it. Let's go. Don't ruin my dream, Don't ruin my dream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. This has been a pleasure, Coach. This is so weird because how long have you been my coach?
Oh
it's
my
been
God,
a
we're
while.
going on 3 years. We're going on over 3 years now.
No, dude, we're talking about. I lived in a different house. We're talking about 5.
Oh wow, has it really been that long? Oh yeah, because I was with a different company at the time. That's right.
Yeah, I remember all that.
That's right. I remember the first time you reached out to me. I was like, okay, do you have a database? No. Do you have a team? No. Do you have an assistant? Nope. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Charity case.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, we have found our charity person for the year. We're good. But where you come and where you are, it's not even. It's incomprehensible sometimes. You're doing amazing. So very, very, very good trailblazer.
Hope you made you proud.
Yeah. This year you better. We got 3 months to change a few things, but yes.
Last year means shit. What did you do for me today?
Yeah, I would say July, your best month ever. That is like so 2 months ago. That doesn't matter.
Thanks again, Coach. Enjoy your dinner party.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, now I have to get you on my podcast.
Awesome.
Okay, have a good one. Bye, Erwin.
All right, bye-bye.